Hi, Mason again. It's time to find out exactly what's going to happen in the next Syracuse game. This is No Wrong Answers. Here's Brian.
That's the next Syracuse games with an S, Mason. We're going double dip, no wrong answers coming up on Saturday, Syracuse and Virginia. Thank you, Kevin. Syracuse and Virginia at noon at JPJ. Syracuse and St. Joe's on the Lacrosse field in the Dome, also at noon. Let's start with the Virginia Cavaliers. Virginia, here's the thing about Virginia. Remember when Virginia got less good there for a couple of years? Yeah, they're done with that now. Virginia's 19-3. They're 7-2 in the league. Virginia is entering this game having won 3 in a row, albeit against, you talk about Syracuse going into a tough set of the league. Virginia's going into the easiest part of its, or they're in the middle of the easiest part of their schedule. They lost a wild game to Carolina there at home a couple Saturdays ago, where Carolina made a fantastic second half comeback. That was a great basketball game. Since then, Virginia's gone to Notre Dame and won in overtime. They've gone to Boston College and won by 7, and then they've hosted Pitt and won by 20, and now they've got Syracuse coming up on Saturday. So they're in the Big East portion of their schedule right now. Obviously, no more Tony Bennett at Virginia. They've got Ryan Odom there now as their head coach as they try to get things back on track. I'd say do more than try to get things back on track. It was a very short down period in the transition away from Bennett here to get to where Virginia is. And here's how you're going to know you're not in the Tony Bennett era anymore about Virginia. Virginia is averaging 83 points a game. This is not your slightly older brother's Virginia. This is a very, very different Virginia team that Syracuse will be running into on Saturday. And Syracuse obviously coming in after the blowout, not blowout, but it was a blowout, not blowout, loss to Carolina on Monday. I just think this is a really tough spot for the Orange to be involved in here this week against Virginia. No wrong answers. Let's get into it from a Syracuse perspective. We'll start with Donnie Freeman, who's back in the starting lineup on Monday. I don't know. The ball's getting stuck. Like the offense is going to him to die. He's both the best player, and it's becoming very frustrating to watch the way it's become only iso ball with him, where when he first came back, it wasn't that. It was running. Now, the opposition, I guess, is one thing, but it was working just a little bit more organically when he first came back. But I'll go Donnie 16-7 in this game. 16.7 rebounds for Donnie Freeman in this game. J.J. Starling, again, it's just not been a very efficient season for J.J. Starling at 12 points in the game. For Starling, no wrong answers. Nate Kings, the Nates, Kings and George. I really like what Kings has been doing. The defense really harassed him, though, on Monday. Virginia's will attempt the same thing. I think Kings has a decent game. We'll go 12 points for Nate Kings in this one. Nate George, I mean, who even knows at this point from Nate George? Predicting Nate George has become the most impossible thing to do on this basketball team. We'll go 8 points, 7 assists, 4 turnovers for Nate George against Virginia on Saturday. Cayenne, yeah, he had 10 points on Monday, but he's not playing well. He's not playing well. He's flat out not playing well. I don't think this is a great environment necessarily to go into, and you're not playing well. 7 points, inefficient shooting for Anthony in the game. His fellow freshman Sadiq White will commit fouls. No wrong answers. Tyler Betsy, best 3-point shooter, worst defender on the team. It's a hell of a balance. Like, it's really tricky to, like, this is where I feel bad for Red. Like, Betsy should play more. And Red's like, well, he's also got to play the other end of the court, and he's been terrible at the other end of the court. I don't know. Betsy will make 3 threes in this game, and I'm just going to ignore the defensive end of the court for now. And William Kyle on the front line. Kyle really struggled on Monday against a big and burly Carolina team. Like, I just felt that was going to be the case. coming up on Monday. Virginia, quick looking through their size. Just scanning their size. Where are we at with their size? They've got some size. It's not as imposing as Carolina, but it's certainly not existent. They got a couple of 7-footers on the roster. Their bigs have a little weight and muscle to them. They got a lot of foreigners there. I think this could be a struggling kind of game again for Kyle. We'll go 8 points and 2 rebounds for William Kyle in the game. The rebounds I'm worried about with Kyle, him just getting physically pushed around a little bit in this game. No wrong answers. Syracuse and Virginia will wait for the final score for the end. Thank you, Gavendo, and Elite Wealth Management. Duly appreciated. Lacrosse game, Syracuse and St. Joe's on Saturday, also at noon. St. Joe's will be playing its first game of the season. They had their outdoor game at NJIT, that's the New Jersey Institute of Technology, canceled last Saturday. Why? It was January in New Jersey. What'd you think was going to happen? St. Joe's has been, let's see what their record was last year. They were 9-6. They've been a solid team. They're in the A10. They're always kind of in the mix. Like, they're not a great team. When they play, like, big boy teams, they usually lose, but they have a way of hanging in. Like last year, they played Duke early in the season and lost by 2. They played Richmond late in the season, who was the ranked team in the A10, and they lost by 3. So I don't even think they're as good as BU, but this is not like a pushover club Syracuse has coming into the Dome on Saturday. Gary mentioned after the game they also 10-man ride, which was a significant issue for the Orange in the opener. And honestly, out of everything we're to see in this game on Saturday, I think the main thing to watch out for, area of improvement, game 1 to game 2. So no wrong answers, Cuse Lacrosse Saturday. Johnny Mullen at the dot. He won 2/3 of his face-offs in the opener. I think Mullen goes north of 70% in this game. He's fantastic. He may be the best face-off guy in the country. Syracuse will dominate possession most of the season because of that. Joey Spallina fast-tracking down Mike Powell for the leading scorer in Cuse program history and 5 points in the opener. I think Joey kicks that up a little bit today. Saturday. We're going to go 2 goals but 5 assists for Spallina in this game. Distribution, 7 points for Spallina. Bear Anderson. I like Peyton Anderson. Let's give him a hat trick in his second game this year starting at attack. I think he's going to get to the goal. And if Spallina's going to have assists, they got to go to somebody, right? I think we get a bit of a Michael Leo game. We didn't see a lot. It was Luke Roa off the first midfield line that got it started in the opener. I think Michael Leo in game 2. Let's get a hat trick for Leo. He's fantastic as a dodging threat off that first midfield line. And Wyatt Hoddle intrigued in the opener. He was kind of the spunky guy on the second midfield line. I think another 2 goals for Hoddle. If you're going to win the Natty, your second midfield needs to have a little bit of punch, and Hoddle showed that in game 1. The defense with Figueres and Dwan, stout. I think they'll do that again. McCool in the goal. Jimmy was great in the first game, stopped 2/3 of the shots. I think he'll again be north of 50% in save percentage against St. Joe. So here we go. No wrong answers for the weekend. Syracuse, Virginia on the basketball court. No wrong answers. Final score, Virginia 85, Syracuse 71. No wrong answers in the Dome on the lacrosse field. I think they clean it up a little bit. I think Syracuse, they got to get tuned up and ready to go. Maryland's coming to the Dome next Friday night. No wrong answers, lacrosse in the Dome on Saturday. I think Syracuse tunes them up a little bit. St. Joe's is not a bad club. We're going to go no wrong answers, Syracuse 15, and the Hawks 6 on Saturday. There we are, a little no wrong answers. You know the deal. Basketball postgame will follow at the end of Syracuse, Virginia, around about 2 on Saturday, right here on YouTube. We'll work a little lacrosse into our talk. The lacrosse game will probably take a little bit longer. We're going to play it by ear here after the game. We'll see what kind of crowd we got. We'll see what people want to talk about. Maybe we can give you a little of Gary's press conference. I don't know. It's going to be a basketball postgame show, but we'll be willing to head off the beaten path if that's what if that's where the demand is at on Saturday. So we'll just play that by ear as we get through our day on Saturday. And there we are, little no wrong answers.